Hi, Year 5. So, I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about the matrix and how that's going to work this term. Now, we're doing something really exciting during term 4, and that is a matrix that's called Survivor Australia. So, when I think about Survivor Australia, I think about all the things that make Australia a dangerous and sometimes scary place. Obviously, not where we live, but in some other places around Australia, like the desert and the outback. So, we're kind of looking at those things this term, and we're also looking at natural disasters in Australia and how we as people can help others who are in need. So, with the Matrix this term, your teachers all have the same expectations of you, and that is that you guys work to your best potential. That doesn't mean that you always have to get it right, and it doesn't mean that you always have to do an amazing job, like someone who's in year 8. But what we want you to do is to do your best. So if that's what you hand in and you're happy with it and it's your best work, then we're happy with it as well. However, we know you guys pretty well by now, so we know what your best work and your best effort is. So make sure that all of the work you hand in for the matrix is your best effort, because we'll know if it's not. We also expect you to plan all of your work. Now, some tasks require planning in different ways. So there are posters at the front of the classroom that are going to help you this term to complete your matrix activities. Some planning might need to be done in a book. Other planning might need to be done on a scrap piece of paper. Make sure you check how to plan your work before you do it. Now, all of your planning will also need to be checked by a teacher before you're allowed to go into your good copy. All of your planning should be done within the classroom and not outside, unless a teacher has told you to go outside. Once your planning has been checked and the teachers are okay with it, you are then welcome to go and work on your good copy. Now, not all matrix work is going to be done outside. Most of it, in fact, will be done inside the classroom. Remember that if you are going to go outside at any time, you need to let a teacher know. And this can either be done by telling the teacher or by writing your group's names on the whiteboard in the classroom and where you're going, so that we always know where you are. However, you should always check with a teacher before you leave the classroom in case right now is not the right time. Alright, so this is the matrix for term 4, and as you can see, our theme this term is Survivor Australia, which is really cool because Survivor's been on TV for a few months now, so you guys should know what we mean when we say Survivor Australia. Now, the matrix is a little bit different this term because it's not just for science or for geography this term. We have made the matrix so that this term it covers English, Christian studies, geography, and science. And English as well, because you also need to write some tasks for English. So this is the biggest matrix you guys have seen. And as you can see, there's something in every single box this time. Now, the things that are highlighted in colours. So you can see that there are some that are coloured in. They are compulsory. They're ones you must do first. So before you can do any of the white ones, you need to have finished all of the coloured ones, because they are the ones that we're marking you on for your report cards this term. Now, in all of the subjects that we're doing, besides maths this term, you will be working on these. So you'll be given time to work on these during class, and your teachers will tell you which one you need to be working on and when. Now, you also need to remember that when you finish a matrix task, you need to check with your teacher. So you need to make sure that the teachers know what you're doing, and also when you finish something, so that we can mark you off in our matrix folders and know where you're up to. So that way we know if you need extra help, or if you're falling a little bit behind, we can help you as well. Remember, when you talk to us about a matrix task, or we ask you which one you're working on, you need to tell us what the name of the matrix task is. So for example, if I want to do this first one here, which says using Poplet, make a mind map demonstrating the characteristics of the Australian desert, you need to tell me that you're doing A1, just so I know which one you're doing and which one your teachers know you're doing as well, so that we can make sure that we mark you off for the right one, and also that we can make sure that you've done the right one as well. Now, one other thing that you need to know about the matrix this term is that some activities have more instructions that you need to read. So you can see on D1, it says write a short speech to explain your TV advertisement to the class before we watch it. And then it says see task sheet F8. Now, to see task sheet F8, it includes a whole lot of instructions that you need to know, and it might even include a planning document for you to follow. You must read this task sheet before you can start your project, because if you don't, you may do something wrong and you may need to start again, and you may also be marked down. So please, please, please read the task sheet before you start the activity. Now this term, all of your task sheets and planning documents will be found in Shobi, because Shobi is easier to access. So all you have to do when you are looking for a task sheet is go to Shobi, your app, and then click on Matrix Work. Now yours will look a little bit different than mine, but it will pop up with all of this. So you can even access the matrix here. And then if you go down, you can see all of the different task sheets that we need. So let's have a look at task sheet for A3, because we were talking about that one before. So A3. So what should happen is it should load. And then what you'll see is some instructions on what to do. So for this one, it says A3. So make sure you're reading the right one. Outback Terrarium. Now this task can be done as a cave, a campfire, or a watering hole. You get to decide. It says create a terrarium of the outback ecosystem. Watch the video on Bethany Flipped Matrix to see what a terrarium is and how you can make your own. Your terrarium should look like an outback landscape. Make sure you use suitable plants and soil. You do not need to use plants that need to grow. I am happy for you to find bits of plants in our school and use these to create the effect. So you can come back and read this as many times as you want to if you're not sure. And once you've read it a few times, you can ask your teacher if you have any questions. Now make sure you read this carefully and you understand what you need to do. As it says here, watch the video on Bethany Flipped Matrix. So there are some additional things and videos on Bethany Flipped if you'd like to have a look. And all you have to do is just go to Bethany Flipped, which is the same website where your spelling can be found, and click on Matrix T4. And down the bottom of that page, there should be a whole lot of videos that explain things to you. So I'm not going to tell you what a terrarium is, because you guys are going to learn that yourselves if you pick this activity. Now, something else I'd like you to do with your matrices this term is on Shobi, when you go into view your matrix, you have to let it load. And what I want you to do this time is every time that you finish a task or an activity, you're going to go back into this matrix file and you're going to cross out the activities you've done. Now, I don't have the tools to do that on this page because this is on my computer, but on your iPad, at the top of this page, you'll have a pen tool. What you need to do is select the pen tool, come down and do a cross over the top of it. This will make sure that you don't accidentally go back and do something twice, which has happened a lot in the past few years with the other Year 5 classes that I've had. So make sure that you cross things out as you do them, so you're not wasting your time, and you also know which ones you've done and which ones you can still choose to do. During this term, you'll notice that the matrix trackers are slightly different. For instance, you'll see that each round bubble actually represents 2 points this term and not 1. The reason why this is because there are way more matrix activities you can complete, and you'll be spending most of the time in class on matrix work, beginning from about week 3. So you'll easily move up through the ranks to get to at least demonstrating before the end of the term. Don't forget to award yourself points every time you hand in a good copy to your teacher and they approve it. Make sure that you're honest and only give yourself the correct number of points as well. You also need to write a date above each bubble as you colour it in, so that we can see when you completed the activity and check that you haven't cheated. I think the most important thing that you need to remember this term is to pick activities that you know you'll be good at. So don't pick activities that you might struggle with. So if you don't like to talk and write, then you shouldn't really be picking things that are not compulsory from this section. Obviously, you will have to do this one and this one, But when it comes to your free choice time, don't pick the white activities that you know you're not good at. So, for example, I really like to make things because I'm a creative person. So, I would come down to I like to make things, and then I would pick one of the activities that comes into that category. So, the one that I might pick is create a piece of art showing the differences between an area of bushland that has been affected by fire and one that has not. So, I would go and work on that because I know that I'm going to do a really good job on it and I'll enjoy doing it as well. And it will show my best ability as well. Also, make sure that you're picking smart people to work with. Now, I don't mean smart people by they're really good at their work and they're very intelligent. What I mean by smart people to work with is are the people who you're working with, are they going to help you do your best work? Or are they going to bring you down by talking to you all the time, getting you in trouble, and getting you off task? Make sure that you're picking people who you know you'll work well with, not just your friends. We give you a lot of choice and a lot of responsibility with matrix work. So show us that you can do it really well and you can make really smart choices with the people that you work with.